Hi, welcome to this segment of Your Black World News. Today I'm joined by a sister who was in an art class at a university and she requested for more black art to be taught and shown in class, and the professor got upset and filed charges against her. I'm joined today by Miss Ayana. How's it going, Ayana?
It's going well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I thank you so much for joining me and talking and telling everyone about your story. Can you explain exactly what happened?
Right, right. So I go to an HBCU, historically black, and in art appreciation class,
Hold on, which
oftentimes
university is it?
Jackson State University.
Okay.
And we were in art class, and oftentimes my art teacher is always showing European art. Well, I'm at a black school, and so finally I spoke up and I asked him cordially in a calm manner, can you please incorporate more black art into art class? He got offended. He said it wasn't part of the curriculum. I said,
Hold on.
well,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you're at an HBCU and they are showing mainly European art
European art. Mm-hmm.
in an art class.
Right.
Okay, is this professor black or white?
White. He's a Caucasian. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. It's deep. It is so deep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he took offense, like I said, and he said, well, it's part of the curriculum. And I was just like, well, this is a black school. I expect to be taught more black art versus European art. And he said, well, that doesn't have anything pertaining me or something like that. And then I was like, well, I'm not asking you for you. I'm asking you or requesting this for my people. And I told him, your history is different from my history. And it was about after that, I think it was pretty much over. It wasn't a big hoopla, but after class, he filed a charge against me at the school as a disruption charge or whatever.
Hold on.
And
For asking for more black art, he filed a disruption charge.
yes, yes.
Like is
And
that possible?
I guess it is. I guess it is because here I am in this predicament where a black school is fending for massa versus a young black sister who does a lot of work in her community and speaks up for black people all over the world. So, it's a sad situation to be in.
Okay, so to file this complaint, he had to go to the administration. Is that correct?
I think he had to go to the public safety office, which is like the police,
Right, off campus. Right.
Right, right. So this is like it's kind of a big deal. A judicial hearing is a little bit more than like I guess a regular hearing. I have to go before a board of people to consider what type of penalty I'll get and everything.
So okay, what happened after he filed the charge?
Okay, so he didn't let me know he filed the charge, and so a month went by without me knowing. And mind you, in class, he respects me because he understands that I am very intelligent. And so he's always asking me about Egypt and asking what I was doing, always being cutesy and in my face. And so a month later, I go to register for classes for the spring semester, and I find out I was on judicial hold, that I was not allowed to register until I had the judicial hearing about the disruption in class. So I went to see about that, and I set up the judicial hearing. And then when I get to the judicial hearing, which was 2 days ago, they added two more charges to my hearing or to my situation. and
What were
and
the other two
all
charges?
the other two charges was social media because I made a video about it expressing how I felt about the fact that I'm at a black school and black art, I'm not getting black art at a black school, and I expressed myself in my
So they,
YouTube
so so you expressed it on your YouTube station and you posted it on your social media.
on my YouTube, right, right. And so they, between the time of finding or of me setting up the hearing, they decided to add two more charges, and they didn't notify me, which is something that they should have done to even have those penalties or those charges up at all. But so when I went into the hearing, I was kind of bombarded. However, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm very good at debating. I was able to handle all of that and go and tell them the truth or whatever, and they were very impressed. Now, even though they were impressed by it, I still don't know if they're going to give me penalties. There's financial penalties to each of these charges, and added up, the maximum I could be paying is like $900 for this situation.
Just for okay, so break it down to us. What happened, or what was the makeup of how many people were in the room, like inside your hearing?
It was five. I think it was like five or 5 students, and one
Black
uh,
students?
yes, 5 black
Okay.
students and one staff. So in the judicial hearing, they asked me questions like, "Oh, did you make a derogatory statement?" By which I said no. I pled not guilty to all of these charges, and so they asked me, "Okay, well, did you make a derogatory statement?" I said no, and then they said, "Well, is crack a derogatory? Or did you say the statement about a cracker?" And I said, "Yeah, I made a statement about a cracker. Cracker is not a derogatory statement. Cracker is a historical statement. A cracker describes the people that would beat us, and it was the crack of the whip or whatever." So I'm explaining this or whatever, and so after that, they really couldn't say anything. Um, but it was one sister with a huge fro. I'm just thinking this sister gonna be conscious. She gonna feel me. You know what I'm saying? Black student speaking up for black people. But she was the hardest on me. She was like, "There's no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse." And I rewatched the video recently. I went ahead and took it down. But I rewatched the video, and I'm not really mean in the video. I'm just really irate about the fact that there's not enough black in black schools, black education in black schools. And that's really what I was going off about in the video. But yeah, that mostly, they were asking me questions like that, and telling me, well, I should have gone to the chair, if I had a discrepancy with the education. But my thing is, if I'm telling you, or you find out that they're not teaching black art at a black school, why do I have to go to anybody? As a black school, you should be investigating the situation and trying to correct it on your own. I shouldn't have to do anything. Black students shouldn't have to riot, or shouldn't have to be upset. We shouldn't have to petition to get black education at a black school. And so to me, that's ridiculous. And so, the brothers and sisters, we got to a point where they were understanding me, and they, instead of being condescending and trying to, be on a high horse, they were like, "Okay, well, we get it, we get it, we get it." But once again, I don't know what their mind was when I left the situation, because I can come off kind of aggressive, especially when I'm talking about something I'm very passionate about. But I tried to relate to them so they could understand, this isn't me against you. This is me against the system that allows for a white man at a black school to write up a black student for requesting black art in the class, and for me to even be in the situation I am. So.
So what happened next?
So at the end of the hearing, the Associate of Deans comes up to me and, well, not up to me, but she tells me, if we decide to penalize you, it's not to punish you, it's for educational purposes. So when I walked away from that, I just felt like maybe they would try to penalize me. After that, but I did speak with, I'm involved with a lot of organizations here. So I spoke with some of my organizations, and they were telling me that they back me up 100%. They also are planning to protest, or planning to organize a protest for me, and other students. I'm not the only one. What I'm finding out is this other students in the same situation at Jackson State University. Even one of the students got kicked out of the school for a semester. I don't know the details pertaining to that, but I'm not the only one Jackson State has done this to. So it's about time for some change to come around here. So,
So educational purposes means
Mhm.
they are going to punish you financially just for requesting black art at a black school.
Right, right.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. We have a lot of overseers on campus. I see them around, and I understand that a lot of HBCUs were and still are funded by white people. So their loyalty seems to be more towards the dollar versus the black students at the school, which is very disappointing, because both of my parents graduated from Jackson State University and were alumni. Matter of fact, they were, I think, like in the top 10% of their graduating class. So it's very upsetting, to finally come, in the legacy of my parents, come to an HBCU and just be so disappointed by Jackson State University that they would, once again, fend for massa versus the sister that's fighting for her people. It's
So,
a really sad situation.
so what do your parents think about this?
Um, I haven't really told my parents the full details, but if I told my parents, they probably would be disappointed in Jackson State, especially because they still give. They're one of those alumni like they give all the time. However, my parents both work for the government, so you know how that is.
Right,
They
right.
probably, was just like, well, you shouldn't have been too opinionated type. So I didn't even tell them. But
I mean, but we live in a democracy. We live in a quote unquote the free world, right? To where, you know, you educate people to have their own opinions, to form their own opinions. And as a
Right.
professor at that level, it doesn't. He didn't have to be at a HBCU. He could have been at any university. But if a student, approaches you with a question, there's nothing wrong, with having a debate or going back and forth, or or seeing things a different way. But to go to the public safety or the
ACL.
police on campus and file a report, now I can understand if you was in there throwing chairs or something like that, but just over discussion is ridiculous. So what did your classmates say, the other students who was in the class with you while you had this dialogue with the professor?
Okay. So mind you, it's not unnormal. It's not out of the norm for me to speak up on behalf of Black history and Black art in the class. So there's always mixed emotions in the classroom. I have the people that's like, oh, right on, sis. I was like, yeah, yeah. The people that are agreeing. Then you have the people, here she go again.
Here she go again.
So it's like, I have to be patient with my people, understand, like, they don't quite know the importance of knowing who you are and where you come from, because we've been indoctrinated in a system that tries to get us as far away from Africa as possible. So, I understand it. But yeah, I did have like mixed feelings. There were students, and I appreciate the students that were like, yeah, right on, yeah, she's got a point, or, oh, I like her, in the background, kind of quiet, because, they didn't want to be too disruptive in class. But yeah, it was mixed emotions.
So when will you hear about this decision, or when will you find out exactly if you have to pay anything, and when will you be able to register for class, most importantly?
Okay, well, I was able to register. They took the hold off after the hearing, so I was able to register for classes yesterday. However, they said that there's I think a minimum of 3 days until you hear back from them on whatever they decide. So I think tomorrow is the day where like they can start posting if they've made a decision, but they can prolong it however long. I'm not really sure about that, but I did let them know that I had a lot of people backing me in this. So I'm hoping that they go ahead and get rid of that, because that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that I even would have to pay for the fact that I asked and requested Black art at a Black school. I'm still like trying to wrap my mind around this situation.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, you sharing this story, and I just want to encourage you to don't let them derail your original intentions. For instance, even if they prolong this for a week or 2 weeks and say, okay, well, you don't have to pay anything, but don't let it silence your voice to to the systematic issue at hand here, to where, why should I have to request Black art at a Black university for Black students, right? So that's the major issue. And a lot of times, well, you know how it works. They will try to derail you, and okay, well, you have to go to this hearing and all of these things, and get you to a point of saying, well, at least I don't have to pay any money, so I'm not going to say anything else about the art.
Right.
So yeah, so I just encourage you, to just stay focused on that piece if you can. It'll start catering to its Black students here soon.
Right.
It's ridiculous, but I'd love to give you the last word.
Well, just a message to Jackson State University. I don't feel like this has to be me versus Jackson State University. I feel like Jackson State University can step up at this point, and I really hope they do step up and start investigating some of the curriculums that are not beneficial to our people. And so also with that, I just want to say that I always support HBCUs, because HBCUs feed Black families. I'm not against HBCUs. I just want HBCUs to stand up and cater more so to their Black students versus the white man's dollar.
Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this segment of Your Black World News. If you want to reach out to Ayana and show some support, how can they reach you, Ayana?
On my YouTube channel, Goddess Ayana, and that's AAYANNA, or on Instagram, and that's Divine Stargate, or my Facebook, and that's Ayana Divine, and that's DIVIGN.
All right, until next time, be blessed and be encouraged.